Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. Once you log in, you will see the dashboard. You have templates. I'll show you more about this later, but this feature is really useful if you don't have that creative gene and you want some examples of how to layer things with audio and video. Give that a look. It's really cool. Then next, you will see projects, media, and exports. Projects will show you all the things that you have been working on. Media is your raw footage, like your audio that you've added to projects, things like that. You can delete those things as you need to. And then finally, exports are your finished projects. To create a project, click on Create New. Then you can choose between the four choices. To create a screencast, select Video and start editing. A tip: name the project right away, or they'll all say My Video. In order to find the project at a later time, go back to the WeVideo logo at the left-hand corner. This will return you to the dashboard, and then scroll beneath the templates and you can access the projects there. And you can also delete anything that you don't need from this screen as well. Go to the three dots and you will see the option to delete. Once the project is open, notice the tracks at the bottom. This will be the place where you can layer your video, you can do voiceovers, you can add text and transitions, you can add stock images and audio. If you want to add more tracks, there is a plus sign at the top of the tracks. It will prompt you to choose between video/text or audio. If you want to do a voiceover, you can go up to the top above the raw footage and choose narrate. It will create a track all its own. You can also record and re-record before actually saving. You can also record a screencast without a voiceover, but I recommend if you are, record straight through. If you make an error, just stop, pause for a couple of seconds, and pick up again. Trying to record straight through without messing up is almost impossible for me. So if I goof up, stumble, or start rambling, I just pause for a couple of seconds and then go back and fix it during the editing process. Once you stop sharing at the bottom, your raw footage will start uploading and it will drop into the box above the editing bay. It could take some time for this to happen. It just depends on the length of your video. And from there, you can choose what to add. You can add video, text, audio. You can add multiple lines of video if you wanted to kind of blend through, make some special effects. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with this.
Okay, so now that we have kind of started this, I wanted to let you know that I did the video without any audio, and I can control that by going to record, and it will give me options for if I want audio or not. So I can't do that now because it's actually going to stop the screencast, but if you go up to record, and then it will give you screen, webcam, and then it will prompt you to choose if you want audio or not. That's really helpful if you are trying to ensure that you have no sound to do a voiceover. Really helpful if you're trying to work with a lot of noise in here, and maybe you can just go through the motions and then go back and add the audio later. So from this point, I'm going to show you some of the things that WeVideo can do. So you have this really cool option right here called stock media, and they have all kinds of videos, but they also have images and audio. Okay, so if you wanted to add just images to your presentation, you can just click on that and add the images. And if you want it to last longer than half a second, you're going to hover over the actual image and just drag. And then maybe you want to add some text or something to that can overlay it. Then you go up here, you find some text. And remember, if you have just a free version, if you're just doing the run of the mill and not the school edition, that we have for FISD, all of these things may not be available. So make sure that you sign in with your FISD account. I know that you may have had the option of doing this years ago, but that URL that I sent in the training slides, the Google slides, that will get you to our school account. So just want to make sure you have everything that's available that you can see here. So you have all of these overlays that you can have under the premium version and the seasonal overlays. So, or you can have the static overlays, which is just the simple text, especially if you're having an image. You probably want simple text. You don't want to make it too busy. So you can, once you click on this, it's going to come up. You can create all the text that you want that way. And you can color it and new reads 2022. And then you can make it any color you like bright blue, and then save changes. And if you mess up, you can do that again. Bright blue, duh. And then you can move it to where you can kind of tailor it to meet your needs. Then you have all these different fonts that you can use as well. Okay. And then you'll get used to that. And then whenever you hit the preview button, you can see that it's going to run through until it hits that marker right there, and then it will appear. So that's how you can use stock images, and you can also use stock videos, which are really cool. They have tons of things that you can look through, like suspense. We're going to make some book trailers. A clock with some eerie music and maybe some freaky eyes. Okay, let's say that you want to take one of these videos and put it in the middle. If you hover over it, it's going to have that yellow, which is like a caution, are you sure you want to do this? And then it's going to prompt you to push an insert or trim to fit. Push and insert will just kind of put that right in the middle where you need it, okay? And then you can always go up to the audio and look for the sound effects. You have all these. The good tip is if you are struggling with trying to make things bigger or smaller, go to your size here underneath your editing options and blow those things up. That's really good for cutting audio as well, okay? So then you can see how that's going to look. Oh, that's really spooky. Here's another one. And let's say you want this to cut off when the clock shows, then you're going to hover over the stop button and stop it. Bring it back. Always pay attention to this minute right here, because when you go to cut, you can click on this and it jumps ahead. So I know that it was at 52:09, or it was at an 09. So I could cut it there. That's just like one of the things I've figured out. It gets a little irritating because if you click on this, it's going to jump and it's going to cut your edit. So then you just drag that up there, and then put another sound effect in there, and then you can always preview it and cut what you don't want. And you get the idea on that. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you is how to do the 3 at the bottom here: transitions, extras, and backgrounds. So this is the transitions, just like in like a Google slide or whatever. It's going to blend 2 of your slides together. It's just going to make it look really cool. So there's a lot of things that you can do with it. So if you wanted to
put a transition, you would just drag it to in between two cuts. And then once you hit preview, the one that you dragged will be between these two pieces of video.
And a good tip is if you are struggling.
So let me do that again. I can go here and blow this up a little bit and see the transition a little bit easier. Where'd that transition go? Right there.
Here. So that's how you can use stock images.
Oh, here's my transition. Once you blow up the editing, I don't even know what you call this little area right here. This is a really good way to, like I mentioned, to cut the audio and to kind of get really finite in your editing. That this means there's a transition there. So you can click on this and you can see what that transition will look like.
Yeah, well, and a good tip is if you are struggling,
you don't like it, you just cut it. Oh, sorry. If you don't like it, then you're just going to click on the actual transition and hit trash, and it will put your two video clips back together. But there's a lot of stuff that you can do with that. And then extras is a really nice one. If you're making like how-to videos, you can, it will layer on top of your video. So if you want to point something out on the video, it's going to give you a layered effect. So right here, let's say you want to point something out on your video. You're going to put it on a video line. And then once you click on here, you'll be able to add any text that you need, like come to Pride Tom next Thursday for instructions. And then you can create any color you want. You get the idea. And then save changes, and it will give you the ability to kind of point something out specific on that video. Backgrounds are going to be what you see. So if you drop a background on something, it's going to cover your video when you go to preview it. Okay, so if this video is important, you probably do not want to layer a background over the top of it. I'll show you. So you're going along here.
Go to your size here underneath your editing options and blow those
and
things
see how
up.
your background will go right over the top of it. It will not go away until that background is off of the video line, and then it'll go back to your video. So just keep that in mind. Backgrounds are really great because you can put those at the end of your videos and have credits or anything like that you want to do. And then the final thing that you do to prepare your video to render is hit finish. And then I always do HD, and I make it public, and then I export. Okay. You can do with podcast, if you wanted to turn this into a podcast, you could do audio only, and it will turn it right into a podcast for you. And then you can choose what the thumbnail part means, whatever they're going to see when the video launches. So if you want something really generic, there's a couple of options across the bottom there. But basically, that's some of the stuff that you can do. I always find new things in here that I didn't realize that were available on our school version of WeVideo. So thanks for watching. And I'm going to export the video. So actually the video you're watching about how to make a WeVideo was the video I made for the practice. Go figure. Mind blowing.